and sentiment, that stops here right now. Especially towards you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, on behalf of Urshly, Natalie's sister and bridesmaid, I would like to thank Shaun for his kind words. And let me also take this opportunity to say, Urshly, you look absolutely stunning today. Outshone only by Natalie the bride.
Yeah, you're making gold jealous here.
I agree with that statement entirely.
Being the best man, allow me to introduce myself. My name's Martin. What would you like to drink? I do hope during the course of the night you come say hello to me, and please, I insist that you call me by my entire name. Now, I think most of you know by now I'm Shaun's younger brother, and when Shaun asked me to be his best man, I was obviously very flattered. I did, however, realise at that time that I would have to say something nice about him. Now, as I'm completely inexperienced in that area, and this is probably the hardest part of the entire speech, I thought I'd get it out of the way early on. Shaun is loving, successful, witty, intelligent, generous, charming. What was that again?
You're right.
And handsome. Now, for those of you who do know Shaun, and as it was brought up earlier, you'll know that. Sorry, hang on a second. In fact, for those of you, I'm sure you'll know that he's actually none of the above. No, seriously. Shaun is like a walking encyclopedia. Or in more modern terms, a walking Wikipedia. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he's a bit of a know-it-all. And what Shaun doesn't know really isn't worth knowing. Personally, I've never known anyone who researches in any way like Shaun does. And you'll probably all agree with me after all the informative emails he sent about Arts by Vanuatu. Now, speaking of Shaun and his research, I had to tell one particular story, and to be honest, the story has been killed to death. And I know that as I commence the story, he'll probably roll his eyes. He was 17, in other words, half a lifetime ago, and learning to drive. Our mum over there, goodness, took it upon herself to teach Shaun how to drive. Now, 20 years experience behind the wheel and an unblemished record on the road. And let me make that clear, when I say unblemished, I refer to car crashes, certainly not speeding fines. So despite 20 years experience and an unblemished record, Shaun refused to let her teach him because he already knew how to drive.
Oh,
yep. He had done the research. He had read a book on how to drive and did not need to be taught that. Now, Shaun and I being brothers, I do have memories from my younger days, but it has to be said, we didn't always get on. I remember the times when he would call me Forrest Gump, and I would call him Fester. And we both go crying to our mum. And that was just earlier this week, actually. No, really, when we were younger, Shaun was a little sadistic, to say the least. Over the years, I've played a reasonable amount of physical contact sport, and I've actually never broken a bone, a single bone in my body from those sports. The only time I've ever broken a bone in my body was when Shaun pinned me down on my back regularly, with his knees holding my shoulders down, and incessantly punched me in the nose. Memories. I assure you that stopped as soon as I grew taller than him. And at that time he decided to turn his attention to Busby. Now Busby was our little family dog. He was a little Maltese poodle, or as I say in Australia, a Maltese terrier. And he used to be Shaun's source of amusement for hours upon end. There were times when Shaun used to flip him on his back and spinning round and round on the tile floor. Yep, round and round and round until his arms got tired, and Busby was pretty much passed out from dizziness. And at that point, he'd flip him back on his feet and watch him fumble around, just crashing into walls, couches, pot plants, you name it. Now he also went through this phase, but thankfully it was only a phase, where he used to place Busby on the toilet seat. He used to put the toilet seat down and place him up there, get him in an upright position and just make him beg. At that point, he would order him to stay. And if you know Shaun, the way his commanding voice is, Busby, stay! Yeah, that is dog being ever so obedient, and whether it was craving the attention or just outright fear, Busby would not move until given permission. So it started with 30 seconds. He'd leave him there and then come back to see if it moved. This provided him with so much movement. Then it was 2 minutes. And during his more sadistic moments, it became 5. There was, however, one moment I recall, where Shaun forgot about Busby for over an hour. And in a bit of a panic, Shaun rushed to the bathroom to find Busby just sitting there, dead still. And to think, all of you right here, right now, think you're having a nice relaxing time in Vanuatu. Imagine how relieved this pet dog, Arwen, is back in Sydney. He's probably sitting there as we speak thinking, man, it's been 5 whole days since I've had to do backflips and handstands. Now, during my intensive research on being best man, I realised that I pretty much have 3 simple duties. The first, get the groom there on time by making sure he's got a good night's sleep before the wedding. Well, I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, he slept like a baby last night. He wet his bed twice and woke up every hour crying for his mum. The second duty is to get him there looking presentable with his face and hair in good order. Unfortunately, God didn't do this right the first time around, so seriously, what chance did I have? Finally, I was to ensure that no angry exes showed up impromptu to spoil the ceremony. Fortunately for me, this took care of itself, because although they were allowed out on parole for the day, their passports had all been confiscated. Now, as much as I could go on about Shaun, I thought it might be a good idea to ask other people what they think of him. So I spoke to a couple of his work colleagues, and apparently they refer to him as godlike. He's rarely seen, he's holier than thou, and when he does work, it's a bloody miracle. I also spoke to other people, and one person actually told me that they thought he was conceited, selfish, arrogant, and insensitive. Thanks, Natalie. Now, amongst all my intensive research, I came across some facts about the 9th of November. Not many people will know this, but on this very day, 73 years ago, on the 9th of November 1934, yes, I did calculate it, the famous Alcatraz prison accepted its first inmates. This is where young men were taken away from their families, where they led a life of solitary confinement from which there was no escape. They were endlessly tortured, humiliated, and basically forced to do whatever their masters wanted. I'm sure that when Natalie picked today for this wedding, it was a complete coincidence.